United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're too willing.
Good evening, everyone. I am not Eloise Henry. Eloise is excused tonight. She is attending the graduation of her son from college, and so the council people have elected me to fill in for her tonight, so I will be your host. And tonight we have a relatively straightforward agenda. Shouldn't take that long to move through it, but that's a jinx, so we'll try to move through it very quickly. And I know tonight that we have the swearing in of a new police officer, so we'll move through the agenda, do our thing, and then we'll do the swearing in at the end, and then retire for some celebration and some corroborating with all the people. So with that being said, we will start the agenda tonight with a roll call.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry? Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Here?
Lewis? Morgan? O'Toole.
Okay, very good. Do we have a motion to excuse?
Motion to excuse Councilwoman Henry, please.
Second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis? Morgan? O'Toole.
Very, yes. Then we have the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes of the council meeting from October 13th. Do we have a motion to accept? So moved.
Second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis? Morgan? O'Toole.
Yes, so far so good. Reports, Mayor Roach.
Yes, I have a brief report. I'm very happy to report that we held a very successful volunteer recognition event last Thursday evening. We had over 116 attending and received numerous favorable comments. Hopefully this will be our first annual event, and we'll be planning one for next year. The best part is the majority of the costs were covered by sponsors, so that was very good. And University Hospital's Richmond Heights Medical Center was one of the primary sponsors. The rec department is also planning a breakfast with Santa. Ticket sales will start on Monday, November the 9th. So normally that event sells out, so get in and get your tickets early. Our 17th annual craft show is scheduled for November the 7th from 9 to 3 p.m. There will be approximately 30 tables this year featuring homemade crafts. Our leaf pickup has started. We'll be going around the city following a scheduled route. The plan is to keep going around the route until all the leaves are picked up. You can follow the progress by clicking on the link in the service page on the service department's webpage. And then trick or treat is Saturday from 6 to 8. So that concludes my report. Be happy to comment as we go along.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Okay, Fire Chief Mark Newman.
Thank you, Council President O'Toole, Mayor Roche, and members of council, members of the community. I just have two items this evening. A CPR course will be held at the Richmond Heights Fire Station on Monday, December 7th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Division of Fire, in partnership with University Hospital Richmond, offers bi-monthly CPR courses to residents of Richmond Heights. The Heart Saver CPR AED course is a classroom video-based instructor-led course that teaches adult CPR and AED use, as well as how to relieve choking on an adult. Call myself, Chief Newman, at 216-383-6304 if interested. Class size is limited to 12 students per class. These classes are free to residents of Richmond Heights. This course is for the general public. It's not the healthcare provider course. Change your clocks, change your smoke and carbon monoxide alarm batteries on Sunday, November 1st. On Sunday, November 1st, Division of Fire is joining fire departments nationwide in promoting the annual Change Your Clock, Change Your Battery campaign. Division of Fire encourages all residents to adopt the simple life-saving habit of changing smoke alarm batteries when they change their clocks back from daylight savings time to standard time. It's an easy, inexpensive, and proven way to protect your family and your home. Almost 2/3 of home fire deaths resulted from fires in homes with either no smoke alarms or smoke alarms that didn't work. Smoke alarm failures usually result from missing or dead batteries or disconnected wires. The peak time for home fire fatalities is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. when most families are sleeping. A working smoke alarm can provide the critical extra seconds needed to get people out safely. The maximum life cycle of a smoke alarm is 10 years from the date of manufacture, not the date of installation. Beginning in 2002, all smoke alarms must have a manufacturer date on the outside of the smoke alarm. If your smoke alarm does not have a manufacturer date, then it is more than 10 years old and must be replaced. The Richmond Heights Division of Fire recommends purchasing smoke alarms with 10-year lithium batteries. All smoke alarms should be tested monthly. We also have a smoke alarm giveaway program. If you want to learn more about our smoke alarm program, you can contact me at 216-383-6304. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for our Fire Chief? Okay, Police Chief Gene Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mayor, members of City Council, and members of the audience. Just to report police activity thus far in 2015 compared to the same period of time in 2014. Our Part 1 crimes, ironically, are exactly the same as they were this time last year at 325. The biggest difference has been our burglaries are down significantly by 46 compared to last year, but our thefts have risen by 35, just general larcenies. Our calls for service are up 8%. Reports are up 5%. Arrests are up 27%. Our CAD entries, or computer-aided dispatch entries, which is the most accurate measure of all of the police activity, is, again, within 2 of the activity same time last year at 25,000 incidents entries. Our citations, traffic, and parking are up by 780, which is 45% over the same period of time last year. And our fines from Lyndhurst Court are up 29%, or about $18,500. Overtime worked is down 2.5%. Overtime and accumulated time paid out is down 26%, or about $20,000. The mall accounts for about 5% of our calls for service, 13% of our arrests, and our 3 major apartment complexes account for 19% of our calls for service. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the Chief? Building Commissioner Seabolt is excused for tonight, which takes us to Mitch McCalick, our Finance Director.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mayor Roach, members of council, and audience members. A few brief items I just wanted to update you on. One, first of which is, as I mentioned, like earlier in the year when we were budgeting, we didn't budget anything for estate tax receipts. We did receive a modest estate tax settlement, somewhere short of $3,000 a little bit, but it's something we didn't count on. I don't count on anything else coming in that regard, but that's good news. I wanted to update you. I know there was some discussion last week in the Finance Committee about the payroll clerk. We are actually, the initial plan was to go with an agency, and quite frankly, for lack of a better term, after further discussions with them, we decided to retrench a little bit and try a different path. For the time being, we're placing an advertisement. We'll be covering the next 2 weeks in all the Sun newspapers, and we've also done some, for lack of a better term, a little bit of informal search involved with potential candidates as well. So I'm hoping that comes to a positive result fairly quickly. Just briefly, I wanted to update you on the audit because I haven't spoken to that in a little while. I received a email from Lisa White, who's the audit manager, on the on-site audit manager. They are getting close to being done. They're going to come out Thursday of this week to do a field review. They had a couple of questions on some of the valuations for fixed assets, particularly equipment items. There were a couple of equipment items and some infrastructure. So we've arranged with the city engineer and then the fire chief and the service director to sort of do a walkthrough for those items that they're interested in looking at again. So that'll be done on Thursday. My understanding is they've had a little bit of a backlog this year and some staffing issues also, but I'm thinking this is pretty close to one of the final things they'll have to do before they wrap up and start presenting us with information. We'll have an opportunity to respond to their results. So hopefully that'll be done soon. I'll keep you posted as I find things out. The last thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was how the health insurance shopping process is going thus far. And of course, as you're all familiar with, there was an employee survey that was needed to be done online. I want to thank everybody who completed that in a timely fashion. They sent me recently a brief survey from the employer standpoint that I'm in the process of filling out. I hope to have to them by tomorrow. They have initially shopped some figures. I can't really talk about the terms, but I think there's going to be a bit of a back and forth, as there usually is in this process. One of the other things that we're doing this year is we have explored the possibility of becoming part of the larger group within Cuyahoga County. As you know, a lot of cities in the area are doing that. I was informed recently that they are not, at this point, taking on additional people within their group. I think with the transition with the county executive, they're looking at a lot of the programs, and I don't have a clear idea of when that might be open or if it might be open this year, but there is an option to become part of a group with Lake County that does the same thing, and it's handled by the same broker. So I've asked them to look into that also as a possibility, and we should be getting quotes from both of those, and we'll be able to evaluate that as time goes on. And that's my report for the evening.
Thank you, Mitch. Any questions? Okay, Service Director Donald Kerniski.
Thank you, Council President, Mayor, Council, and audience. One thing I have right now for tonight is we are presently interviewing an employee part-time work in the service department. This week started getting through the leaf season, and they would like to continue with them through the winter season. And we have 2 crews out right now going through the streets like I mentioned, picking up waste. That's keeping us busy at the moment.
I heard him this morning at 7:30, so
Sorry about that.
that's okay. That's a good noise, right?
Other than that, that's what we're doing right now.
Any questions for our Service Director?
And is there an update on potential new leaf machine?
Yes, our new leaf machine should be here tomorrow or Friday. And we'll have 3 machines out there.
Very good. Okay, City Engineer Lee Courtney.
Just one item, Mr. President, the road striping contractor continuing his work today. We're scheduled to be in here a fair amount this week, but I think they're going to be playing dodge them with the weather at least tomorrow, so we'll just have to play that later.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Economic Development Coordinator, Crystal Best.
Thank you, Mr. President, Pro Tem, Mayor, members of council, community. Thank you for the opportunity to update you on what's going on with my department. Our main thing right now is that we are working on applying to the county for a competitive $150,000 municipal grant. We would be using these funds to enhance the community park, the walkways in the community park, also to put handicap accessible bathrooms and a ramp at the Lodge, and do an economic development project at the old Casa de Borelli and Village de Borelli spaces, with hope of getting program that we are presenting on Friday. And of course, I want to thank the other staff members who have really helped pull together all the information and all the data to get this grant out the door. Members of the community and members of council, if you have any comments or suggestions, or you'd like to know more about the grant application and comment on it before this coming Friday, you can go to the website and click on my name, Crystal Beth, and I can get back in touch with you. At this point, we did have a community comment period that was on October 20th. We didn't get any comments. If you have comments or questions, please invite those try to consider everything and make sure we get the best and most complete and cohesive application to the county. So we'll be crossing our fingers to get $150,000 for our city. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Crystal. No more department heads, so that'll move us on to our legislative portion of the business. Under old business, we have ordinance. I apologize. This is the time when anyone from the audience who wishes to make a statement, comment, be your chance to stand up and be heard. And seeing none, then we can move on to the legislative portion of the agenda under old business, ordinance number 90, 2015.
Introduced by Mayor Roach, second reading. An ordinance adopting new chapter 184 of the codified ordinances of the city of Richmond Heights, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
This, we are going to leave on second reading, and we will entertain it again in 2 weeks. Our tax administrator wishes to make one more set of comments, but this is something that the state of Ohio is requiring that we do, and it will most likely be passed 2 weeks from tonight. So, bringing us to new business, Resolution 94, 2015.
Introduced by Mayor and Council, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to submit an application from the city of Richmond Heights for a project to be considered by the Cuyahoga County Department of Development for its Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal year 2016, and declaring an emergency.
Our Economic Development Coordinator just made comments regarding this. Mr. Mayor, do you wish to make any further comments?
No, this is a project that needs a very timely vote, and I don't, did you want to go through, do you want Crystal to go through any additional details?
I don't think it's necessary.
No, we covered it in the working, in the committee of the whole.
I'll move for suspension.
Alexander?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes. Motion passes. Resolution 95, 2015.
Introduced by Cumin, first reading. A resolution authorizing an agreement with RPC Video for the purchase and installation of a video and audio broadcast system for use at city council meetings as required by city charter, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Cumin, you seem to know a lot about this.
As some of you may be aware, last year in the general election, there was a charter amendment that required the city to broadcast and to record all council meetings for public access. The video equipment and the microphones you see here are a temporary measure while we look to obtain a more permanent solution. We've done so. We have the funds allocated, and this resolution is to authorize the mayor to enter into the contract with the provider to install the necessary equipment.
Move for suspension.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Move for passage. Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, that brings us to the last piece of legislation, 96, 2015.
Introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution exercising the first option year to an existing contract with Waste Management of Ohio for solid waste collection and disposal services and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Mayor, care to comment?
Yes, I think we did a review of the contract, and we found that it would be to advantage to take on the next option year, so I would recommend its passage.
Move for suspension.
Alexander?
Yes.
Human?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Human?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to give my 30-minute speech about our legislation. Whenever we have residents and audience, so often you just hear us up here read a title, and then we say yes, 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 no, 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 and no one seems to know what, you folks don't know really what we're talking about. For everybody's information, this stuff has been worked over in committees. We discussed it, we work at it, it's in different committees. When it finally comes out here, this is the formal part of the meeting to pass a piece of legislation. So I know I repeat myself on that a lot, but I think it's really interesting and worthwhile to hear, because when I first sat out there for one of my first council meetings and I heard yes, yes, no, no, and I'm thinking to myself, what the heck just happened? But all this stuff is worked over for many, many months in many cases in public meetings. They're all public. You guys are welcome to come, and there is a portion of those meetings to be heard. So it's all done with open doors. Thank you, Mr. President.
And that was much shorter than 30 minutes. So it's a good thing.
Thank goodness, right?
So tonight is one of my favorite times as a councilman. We get to hear the chief, I believe, give my favorite speech. So we will swear in a new officer tonight. So, Mr. Mayor, the ball is yours.
So we'll start with the swearing in, and then the chief will do his ceremony. All right, come on down. Good job. Okay, we'll do the oath of office. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to support, yeah, right, this is good too, I should do that. Do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States.
Do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of Ohio.
The Constitution of the State of Ohio.
The Charter of the City of Richmond Heights.
The Charter of the City of Richmond Heights.
And all laws of said city.
And all laws of said city.
And I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties
And I will honestly, faithfully, impartially discharge all the duties
of police patrolman
of police department
of the City of Richmond Heights, State of Ohio,
of the City of Richmond Heights, State of Ohio.
during my continuance in said office.
During my continued said office.
And I shall answer to God.
As my answer to God.
Congratulations.
Just a little bit about Brian. I think, first of all, it's a credit that he's become a member of our police department. He's very thorough background investigation. We wound up replacing two officers this year. He did pretty well on the first one. We had some difficulties on the second, so it took us a little bit longer. But luckily for us, Brian was still available and still on the list. Brian's no stranger to law enforcement. He's been in security in a variety of capacities for quite some time. Most recently, worked full-time in Oakland Electric as a security guard. Also during that period of time, he was a part-time officer at Eastway and part-time officer for Enron. So Brian does have some experience. So he's being trained right now with Joe Arbogast, who's still training officer. Joe's standing back there. Joe, the other members of the department that are here started with Alexa. Sergeant Todd Leader, and Patrolman Dave Jacobs. Also in plain clothes trying to be inconspicuous, Patrolman Junior Bay. It's a rather difficult time in law enforcement right now. And, what I can say is July finished my 43rd year in law enforcement. And over those years, there's been a real ebb and flow as to how police do their business and how citizens respond to that. And there's been highs. I started in the 70s when we were pigs. I guess we're pigs again, but strange how things come full circle. We were pigs and we dealt with the hippies and all that. And then, of course, we were heroes after 9/11. And now, I think in most people's mind, they think we still are heroes. But there's a lot going on. I think the difficulty for law enforcement is I think there's a lot of issues that society has failed to address for a number of years. And they're all coming to fruition. And law enforcement is very savvy with handling those. And I feel like it's the appropriate body to do that. But in the interim, this will be a charge to do. We will do it by maintaining our professionalism and our training and expertise. It's been a tradition for also when we swear an officer in to have a person come up and do the honors of putting a badge on. We would hope that no blood is drawn in the process. But I'd like Samantha to step up and do the honors. Brian, would you like to introduce the rest of the panel?
My wife Samantha, my daughter Madeline, my youngest son Bryson, and her second youngest son Hunter, and then my oldest son Patrick.
That's good.
Thanks, Samantha. The other thing that's become tradition ever since I've been chief since 1993, I believe the first officer I hired was 1994. Years ago, I came across this poem that was in a bad magazine, bad company out of Massachusetts, Attleboro, Massachusetts, had this poem on the back of a page of their catalog. And I think it says a lot. Councilman O'Toole said that he would like to hear his favorite speech, so I'll be doing the Gettysburg event first. But anyway, this is what he's talking about, and I'm surprised that this is straight with everything that many of the council people here that I've had the pleasure to work with for a number of years are probably still hearing this thing. I do think it's a good piece when I read it. This will be your copy of it as well. It's a good thing to go back to all the time. It's always a good thing to look back to for all of us in law enforcement, why we got into this profession, and not get discouraged when there's challenges out there. We've always kept our head high and do this, and believe we will continue to do so. The title of this poem is "This Is Your Bag." It was lifeless, made of metal. A die has stamped it from rough stock, shaped it in traditional design, and inscribed on it the word police. It has been plated, polished, and sold for profit. Now it is yours. It is a symbol of Americanism. It is law, order, justice, and freedom. It is the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Pluribus Unum, and the Pledge of Allegiance, and the Constitution. The badge lives. It is the greatest defender, brave, noble, wise, and strong. It laughs and cries, knows fear and tragedy. It represents fairness, honesty, and dependability. Possession of it transforms you from citizen to sentinel, guardian of the safety and welfare of others. Display it with dignity, wear it with pride, stand tall behind it, defend its principles, emulate the qualities it represents, treasure it, polish it, keep it clean. The reflection of the badge is one whole, peace and security. Respect your badge and let it go.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, if there are no other comments, I would just make one final comment. That means a lot to me because my son is a policeman too. So, with that being said, I'll adjourn the meeting.